Good morning, folks. Rick here. How are we doing this fine and glorious day? Really, not all at once. Try to contain yourselves. Good morning. What is happening today, folks? It is an amazing day, isn't it? Thank you, Amanda. Yes. It's an amazing day. That's right. What is today? The 3rd? The 3rd of December. Right? Woohoo! Make it a December to remember. Okay? And, as you can say, guys, look at, I'm going to have to change my phrase. 2019, be a lean, mean, money-making machine in 2019. Okay? As a lot of you know, I've been using that since 2013. But guess what? It doesn't work for 2020. Okay? But it works for next year. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to do this. Okay, I had to mute you. I hate doing that, but I had to do that. Okay, December 3rd. All right, like we talked about last week, you still got 18, 19 business days between now and the end of the year. Even if you take off, okay, a few days, like I've been saying, Thanksgiving was a holiday, Christmas is a holiday, New Year's is a holiday. It's not a holiday week and it's not a holiday month. Okay, so it's time to work. Look, there are work days and there are not work days. That's all. Okay, folks, so remember you are on a group call and I have muted you because we are recording this, which means that if you want to say something or have a question or interject, I love it when you do that. Just make sure you remute yourself. All you have to do is hit *6 on your phone and then I can hear you. Okay, so happy December 3rd. Let's jump right into this. I wanted to cover today, I think it's a good time of the year to do this. I wanted to talk about changing limiting beliefs. Okay, now don't get defensive. We all have them. Okay, it's like having an attitude. It's like having, hair, or in my case, not. All right, it's like, we all have beliefs. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So the first thing that you want to understand in changing limiting beliefs is acknowledge that you have them. Acknowledge that you have limiting beliefs. I mean, we all have them. As you guys know, my good friend Matthew Ferry came up with the term the drunk monkey. Matter of fact, he even has a website or a Facebook page that says the drunk monkey. So check it out. It's hilarious. And it's also true. It's good to give yourself give a name to that negative voice that we have in our head. Okay? Like I was watching a football game yesterday. No, I'm not going to, even though the Patriots did win yesterday, yay. But that's not the game I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Pittsburgh game, if you're on the West Coast, the 5:30 game. And, it was Pittsburgh Steelers against San Diego. Now, if anybody watched that game, and now they're called the LA Chargers now. Okay, still got to get used to that. But if you watch the game, it was almost like they changed the uniforms at halftime. Pittsburgh came out, they were at home, and they were laying a hurt on them. And then, they were down by, 16, 18, 20 points, the Chargers. And they came all the way back and won with time running out with a field goal. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something that being in sports, when I was a kid and so forth, is what you believe, okay, when you walk onto the field, or in your case, when you walk into your office, or you walk into a listening presentation, is critical. So if you have these negative beliefs, and we all have them, it's perfectly normal, okay, especially if you are watching the news at all, it's very easy to have negative thoughts. All right, but you have to work every day at changing them. So, like now, like I was talking about earlier, when I'm using the drunk monkey phrase, I acknowledge immediately that I have these negative thoughts going on in my head. All right, and then I replace them with better ones. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is acknowledge that you have them, and the second thing is acknowledge that they're not true. Okay, I mean, look, if I'm going to make a negative mindset become true, then it is true. But I'm assuming everybody wants to be their best cheerleader, their own friend. Why would you ever have a story in your head that is not consistent with the goal you want to achieve? Okay, once I acknowledged that and understood that and learned it, okay, I was like, I will not, I go to the gym pretty much every day. And I walk in there sometimes with a whole different mindset than when I walk out. But I have a routine I do, all right? And it's not just, okay, it's not just working out. It's also having my earbuds in and listening to a great audiobook. I know that if I am undisciplined about my mindset and my thinking, it will gravitate in the wrong direction. I know that about me. So I have a system. I have a plan. I don't allow myself wiggle room. Some of you have heard me say this, okay? Some days I wake up and my mind is a terrible neighborhood. I should not go there alone. So I don't. All right, I have a plan that goes along with it, and it's a heavy dose of audiobooks, a heavy dose of meditating, a heavy dose of just read. Look, you have the ability to consciously control what goes into your subconscious mind. Whoa, that is pretty deep, but it's true. You have the ability to control. I call it controlling my environment. It's very rare when I'm at the gym that I pull my earbuds out to talk to somebody. I wave, I say hi, I smile, okay, but I never, because as soon as you pull those out, now I'm subject to listen to somebody in my gym, which they're usually great people and so forth. This morning I did for a couple seconds, but we were talking about a specific workout, all right, with a guy I know that's been there all the time. But it's very rare I'll do that for anybody but a few people, because I don't want to hear, all right, I'm working on my mindset, not just my physicality when I'm at the gym. Okay, and if some of you have seen me at the gym, and there's a few people, I saw one this morning from the Sahara office, okay, is I'm usually in the zone, and sometimes if somebody waves to me, they have to wave to me for a while, like, oh, hi, because I'm in the zone, but I intentionally do that. I want to be working on my mindset as well as my physicality, because I know if I don't, I know what the consequences are. Okay, so number one, acknowledge that you have them. We all have negative thoughts. Number two, they're not necessarily true unless you make them true. You have the ability to make true anything you want to. Why would you ever choose, okay, negative ones? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, you know what? I intentionally want to screw myself out of all the good stuff I can get today, so let me jump in and be negative here. I got to tell you, I think it's being lazy. And some of you have heard me say this before. I think it's it's so much easier just to tell yourself you can't do it than it is that you actually can. All right? Look, there are people in this company that sell 70 homes a year. There are teams that sell over 100. There are individuals that sell 40, 50 homes without even an assistant. Okay, and I'm going to they don't walk around with S's on their chest. Okay? I mean, they're not Superman or Superwoman, right? They're really not. They're just doing extraordinary things, which are, extraordinary just means extraordinary. It's ordinary with a little extra. That's all it is. Okay, so can you be ordinary with a little extra? Yeah, of course you can. When you go to the gym, the people that are in shape, it's because they work out more. They eat better. Look at physics tells you that. If I work out and eat better, I'm going to get into shape. It's not rocket science. All right, like I love when people tell me, well, you know, like I'll help people once in a while, very rare and usually not at work, about, you know, their diets and so forth. And they'll tell me, but I'm a little hungry during the day. Good. You're supposed to be a little hungry. You know, look there's two types of uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because I've overeaten, or uncomfortable because I'm a little hungry. You get to pick your uncomfortable, just like you get to pick your mindset. All right? Look, you are constantly under stress as a human being. There's good stress and there's bad stress. All right? So you have to just decide, if I'm going to be under stress, at least I'm going to pick the stress I'm going to be under. Okay? So acknowledge that you have them, acknowledge that they're not true, and then come up with new ones. I like to say, write the story. I'm alive, excited, and full of energy. I make X amount of money. Okay, I sell X amount of homes. Tell yourself this. As you guys know, I come up with 2 affirmations for all the 5 areas of my life: personal, financial, job, spirituality, and relationships, family. Okay? I have a 2-sentence goal. I write out a check. I've already done that to myself, from myself, dated December 31st, 2019. Okay? With the amount of money I want to make. And on the back side, the side you would sign, that long blank part of the check, I write 10 lines on there, and there are 2 affirmations for each of those 5 areas I just went over. Okay? Physicality, how I want to, what kind of workout I'm going to be doing, what kind of shape I want to be in, what kind of money I'm going to save, okay, what goals I have at my job, what my goals are spirituality, and then my family and relationships. Those are the 5 areas that I like to focus on. All right, it's not complicated. People that are doing really well in real estate, people that are in great shape, people that have great mindsets, once you get the routine down, it almost becomes a little boring. Okay, but it's a good boring. It's a comfortable boring. It's a secure boring, as opposed to a hectic, all over the place, drive yourself crazy because your emotions are all over the place. All right, so once again, acknowledge you have them. Acknowledge that they're not you or they're not true. Could you imagine if you were every thought that had pumped into your head? Wow, we all would be certified. I know I would be certified insane. Okay, come up with new ones. I get to write my story. The only vote that matters is yours. Okay? And if you have a really supportive spouse and family members, that would help too. But ultimately, it's up to you. It's up to you. Okay? So I'm going to come up with new ones. Now, that's the easy part. Okay, acknowledging you have them is easy, obviously, because we all have them. If you're going to defend that you have limiting beliefs, then you're in trouble, honestly. Then you're going to acknowledge that they're not true or they're not you. Then you're going to come up with new ones. I'm going to write them down. New beliefs that I have that I really want to emulate. I want them to become part of my chemistry, part of my being. Okay? And then I'm going to actually, now here's the tough part. That's number 3 so far. Number 4 is, what are the new actions consistent with them? All right, there you go. That's where the rubber meets the road. What are the new actions consistent with achieving my goal? Okay? Now, I've gone on for like 13 minutes here. All right, does anybody have any questions about those? This is a pretty important subject. Not pretty important. It's very important. It's probably, if you listen to Think and Grow Rich, or any books like that, okay? Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone and everybody that's written about them, Earl Nightingale, on and on. Everybody that talks about Think and Grow Rich, you always hear them mention, you have to have a burning desire. Now, if I'm going to assume everybody on this call, because why would you be on a group call with me unless you had a desire to achieve your goal, make your life better? I know I do every single day. I want to become a little bit better. I don't want to become a lot better in one day because I don't want to set unrealistic goals. I just want to get a little better every day in what I'm doing. Okay? A little bit every day in what I'm doing. Okay? So some of you know I record music, and I just did a little recording over the weekend, with some fun stuff. And the engineer/drummer, Vinny, the guy I work with, he said something to me that, and he's an unbelievable drummer. Unbelievable. Here's what he said to me. I learned my drumming parts, and anybody know what a metronome is? A metronome is, it keeps you, click, click, sounds like Chinese water torture. Click, click, and it's exactly in time. And he says, I practice to that. I speed it up, I do it at normal time, and I slow it down. So then when I play the song, it's really easy to me. And I'm thinking, that's a professional. Now, could you imagine if you did that with your workout, with your diet, with your scripts, with your listing presentation? Okay, it's really the same thing. Anybody who is super productive and super successful in what they do has a plan and they practice. To me, okay, I believe that part of your practice in real estate, okay, is having a good plan to be healthy and have all kinds of energy. Look, if it comes down to, if 2 people are on a listing presentation and they're both excellent, but one is more magnetizing because they have energy and enthusiasm, they're going to win every single time. Then you add in our name brand and all the tools that we have as a company, it's a winning combination. But you got to be doing all these other things, and it's got to start with you. When you walk into someone's home, you have to believe beyond the shadow of a doubt that you're the best person they can hire. You have to believe that. Even if you think you're lying to yourself at first, you got to work on that belief every single day. Because if you don't have that belief, it comes out. If you have that belief, now I'm not talking about being cocky, I'm talking about being confident. In Las Vegas, the average sale price is $300. In Arizona, it's probably 450. In California, it's twice that. Okay, or at least, I mean, all the offices together, it's probably 600-700. Do the math at 6% commission or 7% commission. That's a lot of money. And I don't care what a seller says to you. They're thinking, is this person worth that money? They don't care you're splitting half of it with somebody else. They're asking themselves that question. Wouldn't you? Are they worth this kind of money? All right, so that's what that has to come across. That's an extremely important part of the whole thing. So you got to come up with new ones. Like, I am a dynamite listing agent. I have a dynamite listing presentation. Okay. The great thing about this is you have to have actions that are consistent with achieving it, but you also have, so you got to be taking the body through the motions, practice, but you also got to be working on your mind on the beliefs at the same time. It's a double-edged sword. As you believe more, you will act out more. As you act out more, you will believe more. Okay, I love when people tell me, well, I believe in the law of attraction. Me too, but it's a package set with the law of action. You have no attraction without action. You can't sit at home and will business your way. It doesn't happen. You can have a positive mental attitude and draw it in as you're taking actions. So that's how the law of attraction works for you. While you're taking action, the law of attraction kicks in. Okay, any questions about what I've covered so far? Questions, comments? Okay, I will keep going. Good. All right, so that's number 4, very important. What are my new actions? All right, then number 5 on my list is you got to have you got to have a mindset routine as part of your schedule. You got to factor it in. A lot of the people I coach, oh, by the way, I just did the numbers. Last year, average person in my coaching closed 20 deals for $141,000 on 11 listings closed and 9 buyer sales. I thought that was pretty good. It was actually up a little bit in money and pretty close the same in transactions as the year before. Now the goals for next year are actually around 28 closings with about $205,000. Okay, so that's good. So the goals are going up. We'll see how it finishes up. But if you're in my coaching and you haven't done your business plan yet, and you haven't sent in your numbers, please do that. I probably got about 60% in so far, which is pretty good actually. But if you haven't done that, send that in. All right, so what are my actions going to be? And I have to schedule them in. You know, like working out is in my schedule. Having a mindset routine is in my schedule. And I know for a lot of you it is too. Even meditating is part of the schedule. I start the day and end the day with it. I know, okay, just by trial and error, that my mind needs it's like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, working out, eating right. It doesn't have a long shelf life. You know, like eating lasts about 4 hours. All right, then you got to eat again. All right, I take a shower once a day. I brush my teeth a couple times a day. I mean, your mindset's the same way. It's really weird that, you know, it's not really taught in school. But it's like a muscle. It has muscle memory. You can train yourself, but you have to train yourself over time. It doesn't happen overnight. For me, it's an hour a day minimum. I try for 2 hours a day, but I always get at least an hour in the morning, okay, of audiobooks. And usually, if I'm traveling around or whatever, I'm getting more, but that's a bare minimum for me. 1 hour a day. Just like working out is a minimum of an hour and a half. Okay, and fortunately for me, I combine those two. So I'm listening while I'm working out. You can do it like that. While you're driving, you can do the same thing. All right, but it has to be part of your schedule. It has to be part of your schedule. And then number 6 on my list is consciously focus on what you're thinking about. This is a really tough one. I'm talking about all day. As soon as you start thinking negative thoughts, reel yourself back in, all right, and replace them with positive thoughts. It's like training yourself. It really is. All right, I can over time change my thinking. I can definitely do that. So every time I start thinking, I'm not looking for what's wrong. It's really easy. You ever notice that most people that say they can't visualize, they can visualize things going wrong. What they mean is they can't visualize things going right. It's kind of sad if you think about it. But you can practice, drill, and rehearse thinking positive stuff, visualizing positive stuff. What if you could actually play a movie in your mind? Okay? You know, like you go to see a movie and sometimes it's the whole life of somebody and it's a 2-hour movie. You could, in small little tidbits, you can actually, okay, play a movie of like this year going exactly the way you want it to go. Okay, or I'm talking 2019, because let's face it, folks, we are pretty much in 2019. Everything you're doing right now is what you'll be cashing on in the first quarter of next year. Okay, I'm so crazy about this. I firmly believe, and I've said this to a couple people in my coaching recently. Remember when you were, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, and it was Christmas Eve, okay, or Hanukkah, or whatever your holiday is that you celebrate, and you were so excited, it was unbelievable because you still believed in Santa Claus, or it's the night before your birthday and your party's tomorrow. Remember that excitement that you had as a little kid? I believe if you think about your goals, you can manufacture that kind of excitement for your goals. All right, and if you visualize that over and over, once your subconscious mind believes, okay, in it, it'll even change your actions at an unconscious level. Absolutely, that's what my little book, Success is a Verb, is all about. It's all about taking the body through the motions. The mind will show up. Or as I call it, habit replacement therapy. Taking the body, even when you're kicking and screaming some days, taking the body through the motions of new actions consistent with achieving your goal, and then all of a sudden you start. So you got to be working on the mindset. At the same time, you got to be working on the physicality of taking the body through the motions. It's really. I'm going to tell you something. It's fun. Anybody other than me achieve a goal and you're happy, but you're almost a little weird about it because now that whole focus is gone. You got to reset a goal right away. Otherwise, that's why I hate to say this, but a lot of elderly people die after the holidays because they have nothing to look forward to, and I can't make it another year, right? So, but they make it through the holidays. I firmly believe in the power of the mind. I also believe that a lot of people take the shortcut and say, well, like for instance, I'll give you an example, and I know I talk about this all the time. Stop listening to the news for a month or two. Replace that time with audiobooks. And if you want a copy of some of the books I like, just email my assistant Francesca D at bhhsnv.com, and she'll send you the. But there's so many great books. Just go on YouTube, go on Amazon, go on whatever, and listen. Positive mental attitude books. The list goes on and on. Think and Grow Rich. I love Manifest Your Destiny by Wayne Dyer. Psycho-Cybernetics, the new Psycho-Cybernetics. There's so many great books out there. Anything by Deepak Chopra, if you want spirituality. I like listening to the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. There's a whole bunch of really good books out there. Mindset by Carol Dweck. And you get in the habit of listening to these, you start reprogramming yourself at an unconscious level. And then every action you're taking and they start to change. But if you're just going to buy into the concept, like what Carol Dweck talks about, the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Nope, that's it. You're born with a certain amount of talent, and it doesn't. No, that's a bunch of crap. Leaders aren't born. Okay, they're made. It takes time to make people. Great salespeople are made. They're not born that way. Some people have a little gift of gab that gets them started, but ultimately, everybody I just mentioned, people closing 70 deals, 40 deals, okay, they're not the most gifted people. I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, a lot of times, they're successful because they're not, and they overcompensate because other people are a little bit better, sports people and sales people. Some people are born with a little bit more gift in those areas, but ultimately, it's the person that works their butt off. Okay, that gets there. Okay, so let's review for a second. Acknowledge you have negative thoughts or limiting beliefs. Acknowledge that they're not you, and most of them are not true unless you make them true. And you get to choose what you make true. So come up with new stuff. That's the number 3. Come up with new ones. Number 4, what are the actions necessary okay, to support my new beliefs, put them in my schedule, and have a mindset routine be part of my schedule, and then consciously focus on what I'm thinking about day in, day out. And I'm going to tell you, that goes right down to immediately, if you are waking up and then toxifying your brain with the news, I think you really ought to rethink that process. What about if you immediately started listening to a positive mental attitude book? Okay, or did some meditation, or both, or went to the gym. Wow! All right? And while at the gym, kept it going with, think about it. Okay, if you consciously focus on what you're feeding your mind with, I guarantee you a year from today, you're going to be really glad you did that. But it takes planning. Okay, it takes discipline. Remember, discipline means doing it even on the days I don't feel like it. I want to say, especially on anybody can do it on the days they want to do it. It's the days that they don't feel like it, and they do it anyway, that makes true rock stars rock stars. Okay? Questions for me today? I've gone on for 27 minutes. Any questions for me? Comments? You got to hit *6 on your phone for us to hear you. Anybody? All right, perfect. Well, look. All right, we've gone on for 28 minutes now, and let's just do me a huge favor, do yourself a huge favor. Consider the things that we talked about today. Decide what things you're going to change, even if you can mix in a little bit, okay, of what we talked about. All right, I recommend you go full time when it comes to mindset. Don't go cold turkey and just decide what you're going to implement. Use this month. This little in-between season here, between Thanksgiving and December and Christmas, is a great time for you to make all the changes that you need to make. Okay? I also believe we're in the middle of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to everybody. You guys keep it rocking. We'll do this again in exactly 1 week. Thank you very much for your time. Woo! Go get them.